Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope people remember your towel. Get your Uru feathers and your Middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the pit, tank. To the pit, tank. The Rocky Mountain pit tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And this is Geek Tank.
Your mystery-sized podcast.
Today, we have absolutely no idea what we're going to talk about. So I will smile.
That's right. As I didn't text you guys earlier and say, hey, what do you want to talk about?
Exactly. Which is actually funny because Alex and I were on our walk this morning, and Alex said, what do you think we're going to talk about tonight on Geek Tank? And I said, I don't know. It's not 8:58 at night. So how would we possibly ever find out? And we both went, ha, 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 ha. And now here it is.
When you fools, when you could have been coming up with an idea, you were making fun of not coming up with an idea.
Yes. That was
So
exactly
meta.
what we were doing. Have you met us?
So meta.
Yeah, that's why I don't hire you.
Have you met us? Oh, wait. Hey, so I've been watching She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Finally.
And I think it's hysterical and very funny. Right? Brent's like, but that's typical. Yes, that was pretty cool. So what Donald's referring to is a video that was posted by Commander Christopher Reddy, who is the current commander of the International Space Station. And she's up there talking about gyroscopes and how gyroscopes work and things like that. Well, she's been on orbit now for most of a year, I believe, for the most part. And she just took over command because the last commander just returned to Earth. And I was reading through the comments on that, and I should never read through the comments on that. Like 90% of them were, what's wrong with her hair? And I'm like, she's in 0G. So, like, although there were like a couple of them that were very funny, like how much hairspray did she have to use to make her hair stand up on like that and make pretend like she's on orbit? I thought that was pretty funny. Because I'm like, that's a lot of effort you're taking, you know. But she was explaining in a reasonable way how they control the ISS. The ISS is controlled by gyroscopic wheels, which they can speed up or slow down, which will change the attitude of the space station as they need. So that's how they keep it in orientation, and that was where that was all coming from. Besides, Commander Christopher Reddy is one of my favorite astronauts ever, if not my absolute favorite astronaut ever, because she's the one that takes Starfleet uniforms up with her and then does all kinds of things with Starfleet uniforms. But the last thing she just did, which was hysterically awesome, was she apparently took an entire cosplay of the stewardess from 2001 up to and including Velcro shoes, and then recreated the scene in 2001 of the stewardess walking around the circle of the ring of the spaceship, except she was really doing it in 0G.
That's
and she
sweet.
was like, the entire time she's doing it, she's like, this is actually really hard. Trying to unvelcro her feet and then velcro her feet again and unvelcro her feet. She's like, actually, that was really, really hard. I thought that was the coolest thing, though. She's such a geek. And now she's the commander of the space station. So, yeah, I felt a little, like defensive on her part for all those idiots who are like, what's wrong with her hair? I'm like,
Yeah.
guys,
if you engage those type of people, you can't win. You're just setting yourself up to lose.
I didn't talk to them.
Good.
I didn't say anything. I was very proud of myself. I only stabbed them 3 or 4 times. I think I'm growing.
Fair.
But but it was like, yeah. So that was what it was.
Speaking of toxic masculinity, go ahead and continue talking about She-Hulk.
Yeah, She-Hulk. No, I mean, like, She-Hulk is hysterical because of that whole thing. That's what it's doing. Yes, Donald, if we ever got an opportunity to interview Commander Christopher Reddy, I don't know if I'd be able to say anything because I'd be so geeked out.
We would have
so
to do
awesome.
we'd have to do the Roxanne thing where I have an earpiece and I'm interviewing her and you're asking the questions.
Oh, I think we'd have to do the same. It'd be the same rules that we have whenever there's a Star Trek actor. I'm not allowed to do the interview.
But I've seen you do interviews with Star Trek actors.
It's because Troy couldn't make it.
Well, it's also there's
like,
some that
that's literally the reason why I ever interviewed any Star Trek actors.
There's some
because Troy couldn't make it.
I don't know. There's some that you just were going to kick yourself if you didn't take the
that's true.
Like
that's
check
true.
off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
although I wasn't supposed to have done the interview with Renee, but I was really glad I did.
Yeah, me too.
Because he was so sweet and he was so wonderful, and it was like one of the last interviews he ever did. So that was one where it was serendipitous that neither Chelsea nor Troy could show up, and I ended up with Renee. Mm-hmm. It was totally serendipitous and ended up being a really, really good thing. I'm very sorry, Troy.
I don't mind. I'm glad it happened. You need to do more of those. I mean, I so far there's been no one that I have interviewed or haven't interviewed that I haven't felt worked out right. Like the Nana Visitor was really sweet. I'm glad I got to interview her.
But we learned that one from Neil Adams.
Is it Commander or Captain? Commander Reddy or Captain Reddy?
She's Commander Christopher Reddy right now because she's the commander of the.
Well, can't I just say Commander Reddy? Do I have to get the first name in there too?
Her last name is Christopher Reddy. Her first name is Samantha.
Okay. I was
the whole thing.
I see.
He's Italian.
Okay. Yeah. So does Commander Christopher Reddy ever do geeky conventions? Because that's really our best opportunity if we were ever going to get to interview her.
Maybe she has to stop working first. She has to cycle out. She seems to be on orbit a lot these days.
We'll just get the next flight up to the ISS
we'll
and
just
do it there.
ISS, visit her there.
Yeah. Geek tank in space. All right, She-Hulk.
So we actually we're 4 episodes in.
They all died.
I only watched 3.
Three episodes in. We're only 3 episodes in so far.
Okay.
Still dealing with the Abomination plot. We're wrapping up the Abomination plot.
You might be in the same boat that Tara was in, because Tara never saw the non-Marvel Universe Hulk movie.
No, but we did note that there's a one-shot with that, and we went back and rewatched that tonight because we had watched it before, which has Agent Coulson in it. Mm-hmm. And that was cute the first time, but we didn't really know what was going on necessarily, which was okay. It's fine. Mm-hmm. And we just go up with Tom Cruise. But after that, then we watched the Agent Carter one, which was, speaking of misogyny, the Agent Carter one shot is very much a statement about misogyny. But then, that's where we are is at the end of that cycle, which is okay. They gave enough information to fill in the blanks. So the only one who's truly annoyed by this was the kid, because he's like, I really wanted to know what was going on. We should watch the movie first. And
as Brent is saying, the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton is the one where they introduced the Tim Roth Abomination character. And there's a really clever aside Easter egg joke in it where Tim Roth is saying to Bruce Banner, I was a different person then. And Bruce Banner, who's now played by Mark Ruffalo, says, I was a different person then too. He was Edward Norton at the time. So it's kind of a neat little throwaway thing there.
Yeah, that's cute.
But yeah, I've seen the whole thing, and I recommend it.
Yeah, I'm really digging it. I think it's interesting the way that they're dealing with the breaking the fourth wall. The structure The story structure of that is, I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about that with Deadpool, like talking about, Deadpool and her being characters that break the fourth wall. I understand, Bob. I'll try not to say anything too whatever, like, because Bob's saying he's burned out a little bit.
Yeah, you're only 3 episodes in, so you even if you accidentally spoil something, you're only spoiling something 3 episodes.
Yeah,
in.
Even if I accidentally spoil something, it's only the first 3 episodes at worst. But the thing I'm really digging is the inside jokes are clever. Like,
now, the way I look at it, because I'm a Deadpool fan. I came late to the game on Deadpool because I hadn't really fallen into the comics. Had I probably would have liked them. And when the movie came out, I was excited to see it because our ex Geek Tank member Abby is a huge Deadpool fan. Is like we went and saw it at the Alamo, and I was like, "Oh, this is really clever. I like it." The way I describe the Deadpool fourth wall breaking is it's very sarcastic and crass and borderline childish high school humor, which I can appreciate and I enjoy. Yeah. But I get why some people don't. Like, I have another friend who just hates the Deadpool movies because he does not like that kind of humor. Okay, cool. The She-Hulk fourth wall breaking reminds me a lot of Malcolm in the Middle, if you've ever watched that show, because it's a lot more, here's an insight to what I think of the situation, and here's me trying to connect with the audience because I know we have shared insight. Whereas, and so it's not sarcastic, it's more witty.
Right.
I mean,
Brent, that's a tesseract. If you break the fourth wall inside the fourth wall, it becomes a multi-wall break, at which time it's a tesseract, and you have.
Then you broke the cube.
Right. You have to get a Flurkin at that point in time, which could be just Troy because he's definitely Flurkin. Is
that like a toupee that I wear in areas we won't talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, some places you have to pay, and other places you don't have to pay.
It's Geek Tank After Dark.
That's right. Nice.
Chest hair to pay.
Mel Brooks.
It changes names as it goes further down.
So, we have a mutual friend who has kind of bought into all the bro anti-talk on She-Hulk without even trying the show yet, which is what I think a lot of people are falling into. Weren't you there, Guy? Were you not there when we had this conversation?
No, I guess I wasn't.
I was not there, but I was.
But it does not surprise me.
And I know he was like, well, we should just make our own mind. So so that means you should watch it. If you care about making up your own mind, not listening to what people say about it, means you should watch it then, right?
Mm-hmm.
He started blubbering, and I stopped talking to him about it.
Yeah,
I just hopped in just to give that quick jab to the face.
Yeah, instead of listening to people you don't know and just going off of their word to not watch it, maybe listen to people you do know and give it a shot.
I think I said that too.
Yeah, you did.
I 1-2 punched him.
You did. And it's kind of like, you might already be, your mind's already prejudiced. So no matter how good you might want it, you might think it is, you'll never admit it's good because you've already decided it's not good.
There is something going on with that. I mean, I'm discovering that with other topics. And I think that's the reason why the EV thing makes me so mad. Is because, like, I own one, Alex owns one. We've driven in the snow and the ice and the cold and the horrors of Colorado, and I've driven. I mean, heck, they just drove it up to Mount Evans and back. And
for those who aren't familiar and were able to keep track of that rabbit hole jump, guys shifting gears from people making up their minds ahead of time about She-Hulk, comparing them to people making up their minds ahead of time about electrical vehicles. So now that you're caught up,
I will paraphrase because I don't need to get into it. But the paraphrase is that I say I own one, and it's ha ha ha, you're stupid and don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, do you own one? No, of course not. I wouldn't own one of those. And it's like, but I own one. And what you're saying is a lie. I own one. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't get that. It's like,
because
yeah,
you're
we'd
obviously
rather believe the news story that says that they're horrible.
you're
than
obviously a
believe-
shill who has snuck into the chat from an electric motor company to try to convert people's minds with false information.
George is lost. George, we're in here.
Man,
So right here,
I feel like we need to do is, I mean, the production value would be like too high because it'd have to be at the level of Drunk History production value, but one with people on horses going, doing the whole those cars will never become popular.
Right.
Got to stick with the horses.
right here. I'm right here. Yeah, it's one of those things, but I've had that same person with or same discussion with the individual in question,
Mhm.
where he'll say something, and I will say, I researched it. He goes, well, but the research is probably biased. And I'm like, okay, but case in point, in this instance, it was climate change. I'm like, I read the data off the satellites.
Mhm.
He's like, well, but that could be doctored. And I'm like, not the data off the satellites. I'm like, you understand I speak fluent NASA. So I can read data straight off satellites and I know where to find it. And he's like, yeah, well, and it's like, okay. It's just weird.
Mhm.
It's
I've
weird having to fight that kind of information.
I felt inspired for the first time, even though I know it's like a drop in the ocean. I went to IMDb and gave the 10-star rating on She-Hulk and gave the review on it to try to counter all of the people jumping on there and just giving it a 1-star review without ever watching it. So
Wow.
So it's so I explained it. It's like the reason I'm giving it a 10-star review is because I'm looking at it from is this a witty comedy set with the backdrop of superheroes? Yeah, 10 stars. Is this a good action punch up people in the face superhero show? It's about a 7 there.
Right. That makes sense.
Is it a show that totally totally give me a moment here, my brain's shutting down, that objectifies the female superhero and sticks her in a little tight outfit and makes her just the MacGuffin that has to be rescued? No, it only gets like a 1 or 3 there. So the 1 and 3 reviews you're getting, those are those people. So if that's the kind of show you want, yeah, this is probably not the kind of show for you. But if you like the cartoon Bird Girl, this is totally the show for you. And if you like She-Hulk, the cartoon Bird Girl is really funny. You should probably check it out. Bird Girl, attorney at law.
Right.
She's actually not the attorney. Her Birdman was the attorney at law. Bird Girl is the CEO.
Well, and I mean, that you were just saying that about the objectifying women. She's always wearing a nice business suit. And I love that because that right off the bat, it was like, Bruce is like, you know what your best friend is? My best friend is spandex.
Mm-hmm.
That cracked me
Yes,
up.
cartoon Bird Girl, Bob Sheets.
Yep. How do you convince people who aren't good at interpreting raw data?
You don't. You become a teacher.
Yeah. That's a solidly good question.
You cook the data first, so it's not raw.
Right. Never eat raw data, David.
It's salmonella.
Unless it's specially prepared by a sushi chef. It's the only time. No, but I mean, actually, that is the problem that I've got, is that it's like, if I explain it, then I'm cooking the data, and I'm making it, I'm making it sound like I'm biased, and therefore that's the whole point. However, if I give them the raw data, they have absolutely no idea how to use it.
I try to determine in any of those situations, does this person trust politicians more than they trust scientists? If so, then we're just done. I can't talk to them anymore, because there are people who will do the NASA's faking everything for money because my politician told me that. It's like, yeah, because that makes sense. Politicians never do stuff just for money.
Yeah, definitely. I would, given a choice of politicians or scientists, I would definitely not trust those scientist people. They're always doing stuff for money.
But yeah, the long and the short is, I think She-Hulk's pretty awesome. I'm sad that the bros are review bombing it. I really hope Disney ignores all of that and just goes ahead and makes a second season.
I hope so too.
I was channel surfing and hit Parks and Rec and stopped on it for a little bit. And there's a character in it who I'm not familiar with because it's not a main character. It's just in there. And I'm like, she looks really familiar. And it took me like 3 minutes to go, that's She-Hulk. Because it had to be at a point where she turned her head. And because it's supposed to be a documentary, she can break the fourth wall on that. And it makes sense. And she like looked at the camera and she's like, where am I? And it was that side look where I'm like, oh, it's that girl. She's She-Hulk. They've had so many Marvel people on Parks and Rec. That's where Chris Pratt got his start. So,
well, it's where
you could do it.
I can't do it. I lost her because I've got Amber Mid Thunder stuck in my head, and that's it. And I'm lost now.
Mm-hmm. You're yeah. A place where you go to congregate, like at a mall, but not a mall. It's a location like begins with the letter P. Aubrey
Plaza.
There you go.
She's pretty great.
Yeah. And I BD flipped that too because it's Audrey Plaza and not Aubrey Plaza, and her name's actually Aubrey Plaza. So apparently I BD flipped that.
Yeah, she plays in Legion, which is
also
I'm not quite Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in the Marvel comic book universe.
It's not in the Marvel universe, but it's in the Marvel universe.
Right.
Food court. It's in the Marvel food court.
The Marvel food court. That's got to be a fun place.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So yeah, Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, had a cameo on Parks and Rec. And there's some characters here who I'm not recognizing who their Marvel character is. But yeah.
I don't know, Donald. I think my biggest problem isn't ever the scientists. It's the corporations. Like, I trust NASA. I have a hard time trusting, say, Dow Chemical. You know what I mean? Like, NASA's not a problem child. Dow Chemical, I actually have a buddy who was screwed over by Dow Chemical. So,
kind of when you cross that line from they say they're scientists, but really they're just a corporation at that point.
Yeah. Well, the scientists that are on board Dow Chemical probably would be the ones that I wouldn't trust. So like, oh, scientists at Dow Chemical have discovered a way to cure cancer. I'd be like, well, I'll believe it when I see it, you know? Yeah. So I think Alex and I were having a great discussion about that whole thing this morning on our walk. Mm-hmm. Alex is not talking a whole lot, so I'm trying to prompt him to join us.
Oh, sorry. I'm working on D&D stuff. My bad.
Oh,
it's all good. You can work on as long as you don't sit there and go, you know, the problem I have with being on Geek Tank is I never get an opportunity to say anything.
Oh, that won't be the problem this time. Or like when I'm playing a video game and you guys are talking about stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, my time next weekend.
Yep. It should be a good time.
We're going to be there. Well,
mask mandates again and all that. Yeah, I'm working it.
So. Yeah, I got my mask. I'll wear my NDK mask.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna start a dojo fight. Oh wait.
Mm-hmm.
Dojo fight? What? I always have my wooden arms in the operation.
I don't think there's going to be any issue since it's very little fandom crossover and it's in totally different weekends.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. The VGR dojo.
VGR.
Well, Mile High Con doesn't have a VGR. The closest it had probably was me carting it, like taking a TV and my GameCube and Smash Melee setup into the open gaming rooms.
I think, honestly, David, my problem is talking to this guy right here. That's an issue. This guy is not as much of a problem, but this guy. I think that's how we break the fourth one.
When you were looking down, it looked like I mean, obviously, it didn't look like you were looking at me. It looked like you were looking into your lap. This guy.
You got to turn. You got to turn to the opposite angle like that.
I mean, it's like a little bit more like that guy right there.
Yeah, there you go.
It's that guy. That guy.
Yeah. Just there's the people who are doing the people who are inciting people to do review bombing and such. They're just grifters. Grifters preying on, weak-minded fools. People who are hard as nails, sometimes hard as nails, yet are soft as flan in that they want to be told what to do by people.
That's fair.
So
that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Like there are other things that kind of make me go, things
that make you go. Yeah, and as far as the rivalry goes, I mean the gaming dojo's not at Mile High Con.
Oh, I was joking.
Yeah,
he's trying to start trouble because his life is boring. He has to live vicariously through us fighting. It'll backfire. We'll beat him up.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh no, yeah, that's how you do it. You break the third wall this way. So they think that I'm going to say this, but I'm not really not going to say that. That's how you do it. A little bit of backstory. So many years ago.
Why is that capitalized?
I don't know.
Is that a name? I'm sorry. I'm just reading in the comments here.
Foreign bots trying to create American cultural conflict with these shows.
Yeah.
Bots? Like, I mean, or are you talking about just like foreign agents?
Yeah, I mean bots by foreign agents that are algorithmically trying to stir up shit.
See. Like they're populating all these bad reviews.
It could be, but I would not put it past just the American white male having issues with it not being a white male hero running the whole time, and it does really call out bros in the show.
It does.
So anybody
incessantly
picks
on them.
So any bro who's even slightly a bro is going to be super offended by this show.
Donald's going to BRB. He's going to miss our sponsors.
Oh no! That's why he left.
I got sponsors. Wait, no, I don't have this. Oh, they're there. Here we go. Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and your mom.
I'll be seeing Kieran Games at Mile High Con. I've already messaged him. I asked him to bring a few things that he was going to dig out of his inventory, depending on what he has.
So you are going?
Well, I'm going at least Saturday to get something from Fred and to get something from Kieran Games.
Right.
And you had said we might be pushing plastic spaceships around, and so I may be pushing plastic spaceships around.
I actually have one sole mission at this point in time, and that is to push plastic spaceships around. That is my entire mission statement. That's it. So it's because that I intend, then that means that there's little or no chance that I will not push plastic spaceships around.
That got Embu to go to.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that till Saturday night.
Right.
Then I'll be imbuing.
What's an imbu?
It's traditionally it's where the emperor's representative goes and makes sure that dojos are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Training people, not being dicks about, or not training them bullshit, or at least approved bullshit. And what we're saying it is like, please bring close family and or friends. This is what I'm doing for several hours a week away from you.
And we are showing you that we are not, in fact, drinking and getting drunk.
Or
what's that have to do with anything?
So.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Although now, apparently, if we really wanted to, we could bring a consulate general to prove.
We have no truck with emperors. We have no truck with emperors.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you wanted to make it like official,
we don't.
That takes the fun out of it.
I could do this if you want it.
We don't. Unless we try to do something like that, which we don't.
Yeah, I am not familiar with these as often. I am not familiar with the guests at Mile High Con, so setting up interviews is not in my wheelhouse as much.
The only one I know is the one who's continuing on with Dune. The writer who picked up Dune from Herbert.
Herbert.
I'm having a problem tonight with Audrey, Herbert, Hubbard.
Yeah. Yes, it's. I mean,
I'm really aphasia tonight.
Herbert's son, and I thought it was Kevin J. Anderson.
Yeah, it's Anderson. He's there.
This is, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I haven't read any of those other books that have come out. I only read the original Herbert Dune stuff.
Yeah, my problem is that Dave Boop is going to be doing an entire thing Saturday night, and I'm going to have to miss it because I want to go to NBoo.
Uh-huh.
So
the problem is missing it, not that David Boop is doing something.
Right. Yeah. The problem is missing it because, yeah, actually, I'm kind of excited. I want to see what Dave Boop's up to, and I think he actually he's been doing a lot of editing of books, and so I think now he's finally actually releasing his own.
Nice.
And he actually
has
a release party going on Saturday night, which I think is
cool.
Awesome.
I had to have to monitor that party.
Right.
It's part of my job.
Well, when you go there, tell him I wanted to be there, but
hey, Carolyn Kay, we've interviewed her.
Yeah.
A few times. And that guy Chaz Kemp, whoever he might be.
That weirdo.
Only interviewed him.
I don't even like him
100 times.
Yeah.
Have we met our contract yet? The deal that we made with the devil. You must interview Chaz 101 times.
101 times interview Chaz. Yeah, and then
and the deal is such a stupid deal because the deal was we wanted to interview him, so we made the deal to get to interview Chaz. Was our part of the bargain that we got.
I know John Stith will be there. We've interviewed him. He was like our first interview ever for Geek Take.
Does he still have his nature camera up? Do you know if he's still doing that?
With his deer?
Yeah.
He's looking at his deer. He's so lovely. He's such a lovely individual. And every year when I'm at Mile High Con, he's like, Guy! And I'm like, oh, John, it's so good to see you. How you been? And everything like that. And I'm like, he was like our first interview, and he was so lovely about it. And it was actually also, as I recall, it was our first
on
Skype
online
interview too, because we had him over Skype.
Yeah, he wasn't our first interview, but he was our first online interview.
That's what it was. It was our first online interview because it was still in the basement here. So we were in that set.
Yep. So we looked somewhat professional.
We totally did,
even if we didn't act it. So.
Have you met us? Yeah,
I did. I didn't meet us once.
No, you didn't. No. I mean, really?
Yeah, this is why you suck at improv, because you just go right out there and break that rule. All my other improv performers are like, just send back nodding their heads. I'm just scrolling through their vendors here, I'll let you know which booth Kieran Games will be at as soon as I find it. Now it's broke.
Oh, Dunanetics. I like Dunanetics. That's it's a
spicy subject.
Hubbard. Hubbard. Frack. I can't even say it anymore now because Alan has corrected me so many times now. And Alex is like, "That's it. I'm done with you." So
there's BTS chocolates. I'm assuming that's no relation to the band BTS that Chelsea loves.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's an acronym for better than sex.
Oh, okay.
And it's like honey chocolate. It's a honey-based chocolate sauce company. It is quite tasty. Okay. Better than sex, though? Nah.
Maybe really, 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 really bad snacks. But maybe. I'm not even going to say for sure. See, that's a better band name than whatever BTS actually stands for.
Bulletproof Boy Scouts, yeah.
It's something in Korean because they're Korean, but
Bulletproof Toy Scouts.
I'm not finding. There we go. Booth 38, Kieran Games.
All right. What are 10 alternate meanings for BTS?
Batman tangles with Superman.
Oh, I saw that movie. Wasn't that good?
Bacon
I remember
tomatoes.
you and I went to see that movie together. Still wasn't that good.
Lord, that was.
I don't know. It wasn't horrible, but it was kind of
bacon tomato soup.
Oh, bacon tomato soup.
That sounds good.
Bacon tomato sandwich.
You can make a savory French toast with tomato soup.
Almost like a oh boy, almost like a French onion soup with the cheese and the toast on top of it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese and toast. Cheese toast.
We could use it like the WTF, but it'd be like BTS would be, boy, that sucks.
There you go.
Martha.
I never watched that movie. Just the lip sync comedy recap from how it should have ended.
That was great.
I love how it should have ended.
Yes.
Recaps.
Hershey.
So good.
Hershey. Yeah.
Tilapia stromboli. I feel like anything with fish in it, though.
Yeah, because you're not a fish person.
I am not a fish person. Ugh.
Which makes me wonder how much fish you've actually had, because you might have just had like your few fish experiences might have just been really crappy fish.
I lived in Japan for 3 years and made a promise to myself when I went there that because I'm a picky eater, I made a promise to myself that I would eat everything at Kyushoku.
Deep fried catfish. Have you had that with hot sauce?
Yeah, catfish.
It's in the middle range of fishiness.
Yeah. It really is the fishiness that I don't like. Because salmon's not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I like tuna as long as it's raw. And you know what I mean? Like, it's that fishy thing. That's
because different fish have different potencies.
Yeah. Different levels of fishiness. Because the truth is, there's a lot of fish that I don't find offensive. Whitefish.
Yeah, tilapia.
It's not so bad. Tilapia really isn't bad.
Mm-hmm. Cod is another one I'd recommend for you.
Cod's probably not so bad.
Where are you on shrimp? Where are you?
I love shrimp. I absolutely adore shrimp.
Okay.
So one of the things that my mom,
your mom,
had me do when I was a kid was find one thing from each type of restaurant so that I wouldn't be awkward at restaurants. And so I picked shrimp so that whenever I went to seafood, I could always get shrimp. And then she was like, you have to learn to eat it and learn to override all of the weird, because I have to get over the fact that sometimes you can see, body parts of the shrimp, and get over that, because that's usually a real big problem with me, as you know, with bones and stuff like that. So, but I overrode it, and after a while actually started to enjoy it. Now actually shrimp is one of my favorite things to do. So anytime I'm at a seafood restaurant, I just get shrimp. And nobody thinks twice about it. I managed to make it like this entire time without anybody going, gosh, you're weird.
Well, not over that, I guess.
Now you're doing Aquaman's favorite is like, that just reminds me of the deep.
Right.
Everything with the deep.
You haven't even gotten to the episode yet that warrants that comment.
I see. That makes it even funnier because that means I'm rolling up on something.
Which brings up the question. We are without Tara this Friday. Do we want to do just the boys night for Friday?
I don't think we can do anything on Friday. I think well,
what are you talking about?
No, actually, I think you're right. I think we are okay.
Yeah, because you're not going till Saturday.
I'm not going till Saturday, and I think Mariah is going to Enbu on Friday. So that leaves the little guy and me.
And Kevin.
The little guy and me and my son.
Goodness.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, David, I told you, anytime you want to have a sleepover, come over. We'll binge the boys. I have a fold-out couch now. So.
Yep. He just said it, guys, on air.
Yep.
So.
But that's only for people named David.
We're in third season. What episode are we on in third season? Brent wants to know.
I believe you are only 3 to 4 episodes in, if I'm remembering correctly, because we didn't make it too far past the scene that he was warning you about with the
The
sneeze,
sneeze.
which is episode
Which
1.
I spent the entire episode ready for a jump scare.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a jump scare, but it was really wrong in so many ways, but it was hysterically wrong. And I loved it, even though I hated it. But I loved it, and I hated it at the
It's
same
good. Well, it
time.
wasn't really a
That's the
jump
right
scare.
That's the right
Yeah.
kind of horror right there. That was the right kind of horror.
Yep.
Sleep over with the boys.
Mhm.
So superheroes are an interesting genre in general, and I think one of the things that's interesting is that Bob had sort of said earlier on, he's kind of burned out. I'm feeling like that entire genre is huge and epic and all over the place, and I kind of get that. I can kind of see where Bob's coming from with being burned out.
I think for me, I've hit a few where I just didn't like it, so I stopped. Example was the what are they called? The Inhumans or the Immortals or the whatever that latest one was, the Marvel movie.
That one was a miss from a lot of people's point of view. I haven't seen it, but that one was definitely a miss. The Immortals.
Immortals, was that what it was called?
I think so.
I know it had. Trying to look it up. Yeah, Immortal Eternals.
The Eternals. That's it.
Yeah,
because they're a critical part of the MCU, and like they're pivotal on a lot of things.
I got like 15-20 minutes into it, and I turned to Tara, and I'm like, "Is it just me, or is this just slow?" Because it's not grabbing me. And she's like, "Yeah, I'd rather watch something else if we're going to spend our time doing something." And I like the cast.
I was going to say the cast looked pretty cool. I haven't seen it yet. I was thinking about that tonight because a lot of people are saying, there a lot of people are saying, "Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Have you seen this thing over there? Why haven't you watched this show?" And I realized that my TV watching time is very limited.
To Star Trek.
Well, no, I mean just limited in general. I just don't have a lot of time to spend watching TV.
Right, and you got to balance that with your Star Trek time.
With my Star Trek time. Right. But I mean, like for example, I was just thinking about this. Usually, I used to watch TV while drawing. Now I draw and stream. If I watched TV while drawing, I would break copyright rules. Right? Yeah, the private photos are coming in.
Block user. I have blocked you, user.
Wow.
Boom.
I wanted to click on those so bad.
XYZ was blocked. Oh well. Anyway, but I mean and I'm realizing that my biggest problem, generally speaking, is that I just don't have the time now, because if I want to watch something, I have to do that while not actually drawing on screen for any reason. So like today I watched one episode of something, but just after stream, because I was like, well, I'll try to squeeze in. So I've been watching the Cyberpunk anime, and I've been trying to squeeze in episodes of that Cyberpunk anime, which is
that what it's called?
Really good.
Edge Runners.
Edge Runners. Oh, okay. And it's because everybody keeps going, "Hey, have you seen Edge Runners?" And I'm like,
"No, I've heard it."
Now I'm actually like 5 episodes in or 4 episodes in.
Right.
It's actually really interesting.
Yeah, it's gotta be a show that doesn't really deliver a lot on the visuals, because you want to have your eyes on something else and be listening. So
yeah, and I've got it running in Japanese, so I'm also practicing my Japanese. So at least that's a double thing. Although it was funny, I was supposed to be with my conversation partner tonight, and we canceled tonight, and then. Because I wasn't feeling well, although I'm feeling better now, but I wasn't feeling well. And then we ended up going to Kokoro instead, where one of the waitresses was Japanese, and Mariah started talking to her in Japanese, and then she started talking to us in Japanese. We had this whole long discussion topic in Japanese, and so it was very funny because it was like, I bowed out of my Japanese practice tonight and thought, oh, crap, that's going to be a loss, and then ended up talking in Japanese for like an hour. So that was kind of fun. That was completely a side story.
Yeah, that's what.
But I think where I was trying to get to in the beginning here was that it's hard. Time is precious,
Mhm.
and there's a lot now going on.
I think everybody knows that. We've covered that before about how it's a curse and a gift. We have so much media. We have so many books, so much music, so many movies, so many TV shows. It's just way too many that none of us will be able to watch all of it in our lifetime. So we've got to be selective with what we choose. And sometimes I get to that point where it's like, I'd like to go back and rewatch the Punisher series on Netflix because it was a good series. And that it's like, but I'm not taking in new material, but I am watching something I know. It's like when you go to a restaurant and it's like, do I try the new food or do I order what I know I like?
That's why we've got all these repeat stuff, is because of that thought process right there. So that's a thing.
By the way, what did I just see that's coming out? The video game movie. I'm sorry, the video game with the zombies, the little girl and the dad.
Silent Hill?
No, Bob knows what I'm talking about. The Stand, I think, is in the title of it, possibly. No, Left Behind, not Left Behind. Last of Us. Thank you, Bob.
Stand was
thank you, Brent.
Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us is coming out, the series, and I'm excited for that because I like good zombie genres. There's so many bad zombie movies and shows out there, so I'm looking forward to that one. I'm hoping it's going to be good.
Last of Us is also groundbreaking on its special effects and game design.
I haven't played it, so it's PlayStation.
I haven't either. I just keep seeing it popping up in my graphics stuff.
Oh.
So,
sorry, someone's banging on the door, so I hit mute and yelled at them. Go away.
Okay.
So.
Oh
no. Dang,
another game breaking. If you play a Hispanic in Last of Us, you can't be zombified.
Another person of color
easy mode,
taking away one of the few and only rows out there for a white man. Sarcasm,
right?
It's so irritating. The whole Velma thing. There are people getting upset that there's a new Velma coming out that's a person of color. That they changed her color to be that, and it's like, do you think that there's people of color who don't want to be Velma? Because I could see them really liking that character and what that character represents. So giving them representation makes sense.
They're gonna have Hispanic Last of Us. So there's gonna be a patch for all versions of the game. It's gonna change them all to the likenesses of the new actors. If you want to be able to do anything on your PSN or anything now, you're fucked. Ha 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 ha!
Unplug it from the win. You got to get the old white guy DLC where it turns everybody into exactly the same white male except for the female characters that you have to rescue.
It should only turn everybody into Joe Doom.
Joe Doom.
Oh man,
I got you, Bob.
I've never understood that one either. It's. I mean, like, I was really kind of glad that they, made Golly, she was played by someone who was of color, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. That's right. We're coming for your mermaids. We're coming for your female lesbian detectives. We're going to take your old white guy crystal flutes and play them.
Stupid crystal flute stuff. What is that about, by the way?
Oh, you've not heard that, have you?
I know. I mean, I have, but I don't understand it. I don't know what was going on.
All right. Are you? You probably, since it's not your kind of music, aren't familiar with Lizzo?
I'm not familiar.
Okay. Different genre, so it's understandable that you're not familiar. Very popular musician in her genre, played a 200-year-old crystal flute. Cool. That was owned by President James Madison, and she's like really good. It's not like, I'm okay, so I can see people getting mad at me playing it because it'd be like, hey, he played Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars, or something like that. But regardless, the people getting upset are hiding behind but it's a historical instrument when really we all know what they're saying. It was not a white person playing it.
Oh, so she's not white. Gotcha.
No
one ever plays Stradivarius.
Except white people.
No.
Oh, her dad was a musician. Thank you.
It's a historical artifact.
Oh, gotcha. I see.
No one ever plays Stradivarius.
Yeah, because all of us musicians know that our goal for every instrument is for it to sit around and never get played.
That's right.
Every instrument should be.
That guitar's mint in box, man.
Don't take it out of its package.
I only opened up the guitar case once to make sure it still could smell like Jimi Hendrix's sweat, and then I sealed it back up again.
Okay.
So yeah,
this is a thing, huh? Okay.
No, it's people being stupid assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
that's not a thing. That's always been a thing. It's just
that's
we have way more coverage of it, so more people are becoming aware of it.
Yeah, actually, that's my thought too.
I mean, that was our groundbreaking thing with Geek Tank, because we're a couple of white dudes and we're like, oh, cosplayers are getting harassed at which, when we say it and we think about it, it's like, well, of course it's happening. But living in white dude blinder city time,
suburbia,
it's easy to just not see the bad. And so then when it's like, hey, cosplayers are getting harassed, and the cosplay is not consent. So we're like, oh crap, that totally is a thing. And because we're white dudes, we were not even thinking about it. We should probably pick up a flag and wave it for other white dudes who are like us, who care, but have just overlooked it because it's not in their peripheral.
Right.
But yeah, I think this is kind of the same thing. Being able to point at people who are being idiots over She-Hulk and over people playing flutes and mermaids.
Right. No, I don't. The mermaid thing is silly.
It's all silly.
Of course, the mermaid thing is silly, but still, it's like.
We started out with no politicalness at all, and boom. Well, actually, we kind of ramped towards it and then went away, and then we circled back around like a roller coaster.
Is it like the wrecking ball more like that? I mean, if we're going to talk about popular music,
came in like a pokeball.
Came in like that. Oh man, why are we not doing that?
I'm sure it's been done. That's why.
It's why we should do that. You know?
I blame the rum cake. I had some rum cake, and unlike my normal
nice.
rum cake, it's probably like 150 proof rum cake. I tried cutting it with some vanilla ice cream because I didn't want to die, but yeah, I just rum cake. No, but this was not an accurate representation of my rum cake. It was way too rummy. It should be more subtle. It shouldn't be, wow, there's a bottle of rum in here type flavor. Which I appreciate all the people who did enjoy it and complimented me on it. But
I was gonna say it was pretty good rum cake, even though it was rummy. It was pretty rummy, I admit. But I'm also not really an alcohol sort of person, so I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe this is what it's supposed to taste like. So
no, I've done better. And I can do better. So
that's right. You get right on that. Deliver that to me at Mile High Con.
I will.
Address.
Make you come to my house to eat it
ops.
At a D&D game.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's right. D&D and rum cake. How horrible!
How terrible. Hey, next game I should actually be an active participant. Woo!
Woo! Yeah.
No.
That's when the group
never happens.
We're gonna fly off south now without Julie for an entire session.
We're having fun though. I think all the characters are starting to gel, which is great.
Yeah, I call it my DWAI cake there, Brent, for what you're saying there. Which, by the way, is apparently mainly a Colorado thing. DWAIs. Most other places just go straight to the DUI. I guess Colorado's like, well, it's okay to be like a little drunk and drive. So you get a slap on the wrist though, because we don't want to encourage it. But not quite a DUI, not quite driving sober, somewhere in between.
Yeah, I tell my kids that's because we keep having people in Congress argue, depending on where it is. You know, you got people who have power and their whole thing is, but I mean, my kid was drunk, and so I don't want to make it a law that says that.
If they're already a senator or a representative, they don't need to carve it out for their kid. Just, make a couple calls, disappear.
Just saying that that's usually what happens is you end up with, because we have the same problem with the seatbelts. Seatbelts are like, well, everybody must wear a seatbelt. Well, unless you're an adult and in the back seat, then it's okay.
On a
but
Tuesday.
nobody probably should, because F equals MA squared, and
It's okay to not wear a seatbelt if you're in the back seat and getting it on.
right.
You know what?
Somebody
If you're not
argued
wearing a
that
seat,
one.
if you're not wearing a seatbelt in the back seat, and if you're even a moderately sized human of like 120 to 150
That's why I said
pounds,
F equals MA squared.
yeah, you're a meat missile, and not the fun kind.
No, the bad kind of meat
The
missile.
bad kind.
That's what I say to the kids. I'm like, you guys all remember your science classes? Of course you don't.
No.
But let me introduce you to F equals MA squared, at which time me,
Birdie.
I weigh about 200 pounds, and you multiply that, and I end up being about 600 or 700 pounds when I hit the front seat. That's enough to tear the front seat out.
How much
And
PSI to
squish
break a
you
neck?
into the front of the car and make you very squishy. I said, so, yeah, that's the way to go.
Which is one more argument for electronic vehicles that are AI, because then you can drink all you want, is the car's not drunk.
Right?
So,
you ever wonder why? I actually have been kind of wondering why electric cars are the ones that all this technology is being tried on. And I found out why. It's because it's actually easier to operate an electric car. There's fewer parts. There's not as many pieces to control. It's very easy to maintain, and therefore you can add all of the extra junk you need for seeing and understanding, and still keep it in the same price range, because the electric cars have cheaper parts.
and if the alternator goes out, the AI doesn't die.
Right. You're driving along, and all of a sudden the AI is like, think, and yeah, it cracks me up.
Well, I think we had a significantly acceptable show.
I think that even if it was like way off the rails a lot, just the way it should be.
You know, if we never had rails to be on in the first place, I don't think we can say we were off the rails.
That's fair. I really don't think we've ever really technically been on the rails. And I'm just saying. So, okay, well, I think we pretty much burned this bridge pretty good. You all feel so?
I guess.
Okay, well.
So yeah, if you're going to be at Mile High Con, I will be there like during a tiny little window on Saturday.
I will be there for a lot of it for playing Tiny Spaceships.
Saturday.
So.
And
Saturday.
I'll be there the entire time.
I'm working it, and you don't want to see me in my official capacity.
No.
Yeah, if you see Alex, you did something wrong.
Yeah, you were bad.
No.
If I see Alex, I did something wrong, and I did something wrong right now, and that's not close the show.
Well, thank you everyone for coming to the show. It's good seeing you, Bob. Good seeing you, Brent.
Good seeing you,
David,
Bob,
and
Brent, and Donald.
I got to scroll back up. Donald, thank you.
Yeah.
That brain fart. And anyone who did not chime in that was here, thank you for showing up.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to say the stuff like and subscribe, but
sex bot that was here or whatever. Thank you.
Now, if the sex bot likes and subscribes, then I will forgive it.
Right.
But
so cool. Well, that's all the time we've got for today. I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
I've been Alex.
And this is Geek Tank.